So we're going to let you. What does pulling back from the precipice look like in your mind? And how could that be achieved in these next, tumultuous days?
Well, from my perspective, having just talked to the Iranian foreign minister, so from their perspective, they're one party to this. If it stops, they'll go back to negotiations. He told me, we haven't given up on negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what does escalation look like on the Iranian part? Like, what do you think they're willing to do?
Well, he wouldn't tell me straight out, but they have threatened if the U.S. gets involved. And as Ben laid out, the U.S. has a lot of bases. It has 40,000 troops, I believe, or something like that, personnel in that region.
And more right now. We're sending more.
Yeah, and it's considered that Iraq, or militias in Iraq, Iran-backed militias, perhaps the first line of attack on various American targets, but it's not going to be good.
Ben, your final word on what you think de-escalation could look like, and in your mind, how that could be accomplished.
De-escalation involves the United States stepping in and saying Israel has to stop the military operation, and we're going to make a nuclear deal with the Iranians. And the Iranians, get crappy terms, and this thing is just kind of put on the freezer. If it doesn't happen, and I think if the U.S. bombs Fordo, to end where Christian started, there's real meaningful pride in Iran. It's a revolutionary government. Right. It's a government that went through the Iran-Iraq War. So the idea of unconditional surrender, as Trump tweeted, is just not in their DNA.
Or any countries.
And again, we might not see, maybe they go underground with their nuclear program and they pretend like they're making deals, but they pop up in a year or two like North Korea did with a nuclear weapon. Maybe the response comes through an immediate flood of attacks against U.S. service members or oil fields. Maybe it comes later in terrorist actions. But the idea that this is going to be neat and clean and that they're just going to surrender, or that I saw Newt Gingrich post, now's the time for a moderate, inclusive, secular, democratic government in Iran. I'm like, we don't even have one of those in the United States, right?
By the way, they had it and we overthrew it.
Not in Israel either.
Right.
Yeah, not in Israel either. Right. So the idea that the regime change thing is the catastrophic success, right? But it's the Iranian people that should replace it, and I worry about a failed state in Iran.
And I would like to say, just a plug for myself and my new podcast. I do this with my ex-husband on this episode, which has just dropped. All the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Oh, Christian, truly professional. Well done. That was cherry. Ben Rhodes, co-host Pod Save the World, former deputy national security advisor to President Obama. Christian Amanpour, CNN's chief international anchor, host of the new podcast, Christian and the X-Files with Jamie Rubin, which is talking about this very topic, as Christian just mentioned. Guys, thanks so much for spending the time. I know it's a really fraught time for both of you, so thanks.
Thanks for you taking the time.
Thanks, John.
Boy, I want to thank Ben and Christian for being here. You're in the middle of it, and you just know that their phones are dinging the whole time because they're in the midst of actually talking to the relevant players within this fiasco. And hearing in real time, as Christian was saying on the phone with the deputy foreign ministers of Iran. But the one thing that struck me was the ease in which de-escalation can take place. And for some reason, that being the moment that's fraught, that peace is more fraught than war in the immediate moment of political gain.